All right, we had Dana White at UFC 298 doing his normal media scrum, and one of the reporters decided to ask him about our man Conor McGregor, the notorious one, and when he was going to fight or if he was going to fight again. Dave, do me a favor. Play that tape. I want to hear Dana's responses to the question.
With regard to Conor McGregor, what is the holdup with his return?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean,
Yeah, well, what do you mean?
The Ultimate Fighter was over back in August, and I can't imagine the plan was for him to be out as long as he's been.
Well, the first problem was that he broke that shin bone. He was recovering from that. That was one of the reasons we had it on. The other problem is he's fucking rich.
And how does that present an issue to you with negotiations?
What do you mean?
Well, I'll ask, does Conor McGregor...
Conor McGregor doesn't need money.
So are we at a point here where Conor McGregor may never fight for the UFC? Can you say that?
If you had shitloads of money, would you be sitting here right now asking me this fucking question?
No.
No, you would not. That just answered your question.
Well, I answered no. So you're saying there's a chance that Conor McGregor will not fight again for the UFC?
I don't know. Conor McGregor's got a lot of money. And, anytime we get Conor, we'll be happy to, be thrilled when he comes and fights. But money complicates a lot of things. He just filmed a movie. He's got to do the press for the movie, and he's got obligations with that. And he does want to fight this year, but we'll see what happens.
Is part of the issue that Conor...
That's the only issue.
Is there an issue,
There's no other issue. That's it.
Wanting to re-sign him to a longer contract?
Conor McGregor has probably been one of the best business partners we've ever had. Doing business with Conor getting Conor to show up to shit on time is a problem. But Conor, as far as the business goes, for a guy, everybody talks about how Conor used to be on the dole and all this stuff. For a guy that was on the dole, Conor McGregor is a very good businessman. And Conor McGregor has always been a great partner to us. There's never any hanging out and haggling for money or, you pay me more money. Conor McGregor has never done anything even remotely close to that. It's the exact opposite. When it's time to dig in and get to work and make money.
All right. So let's break this down a little bit. Okay. Because the reporter asked the question of, is he going to fight for you? Well, the first problem was, he has to get past the leg. He's gotten past the leg. Let's be honest. He was past the leg before you filmed The Ultimate Fighter. Okay. The leg had been taken care of. It had healed up. Yes, he's got to get in shape and stuff, but that was all done before The Ultimate Fighter. So he hasn't fought in a long time. The money. You think it's a problem, Josh? Hell yes, it's a problem. But it's not why he's not fighting.
Yeah. It's not why he's not fighting. I honestly believe money does have a little bit to do with it, but in terms of the new contract negotiations, I also think that maybe if it's not the money, what it is I don't want to be locked down to you guys for a long period of time, not knowing how many more fights I have.
It's called freedom.
Yeah, I want
to do what you want to do.
I want to fight my last fight and move on, or I want to be released from it to do whatever it is I want to do afterwards, whether it's with...
Or I don't want you having the ability to tell me no.
Exactly right. And look, if you are Conor McGregor, if you're Conor McGregor's agents, managers, whatever it is, you want to have that freedom after you're done with your last fight. I believe he's got either 2 or 1. I'm hearing 1, but it might be 2, but they tend to drag these things out coming up, so they don't end up with 1 fight on their contract. So then within a certain period of time, they have to be released and you still have to pay them. They want to get this deal done, but I don't think it's going to get done. And in the same breath, when Dana said he's got a shit ton of money, he doesn't need to fucking fight. He's got a shit ton of money. It's not a problem, but then turns around and says that we've never had a problem dealing with him when it came to money. Well, then what's the problem? You just said it was a shit ton of money. And then now it's not. Now, I do understand maybe he was talking in terms of Conor McGregor has so much money, he doesn't need to fight. Maybe the motivation isn't there. Maybe it's not. Maybe the motivation isn't there. But I do believe that this has something to do with not being locked in to a contract with the UFC. We'll always want to still do business with them. But let me give you an example. George Masvidal has been allowed to leave and go fight. outside of the UFC. He is still under contract. Part of that deal is that George Masvidal has to air his fights, whatever fights he has, on UFC Fight Pass. So the UFC still gets their portion of it, and Masvidal can go do what he wants. They would probably want to keep something like that. That's what happens when you have fights still left on your contract. They have the availability to say, yeah, go ahead, Conor, you can go do this, but we want you to do it here. And his agents, his managers, they're not going to want that. No, we want to be able to have the freedom to exercise whatever it is we want, anywhere we want. We want to be able to do a side deal with Saudi Arabia. We want to be able to do a side deal with ESPN without your involvement. Yes, we've helped each other grow. I helped the UFC grow. You helped my career grow. I get it.
Now it's time that, you know what? If we want to do something outside of you, we want to have that power, and you're not giving it to us.
And I want to put on my big boy pants and go do my own deals.
That's right.
And create my own empire and these type of things. And that's, I think, what they're afraid of. And the UFC has always been somewhat afraid of something like that. The top level guys, George St. Pierre, of him leaving and him creating his own thing. And GSP's probably been one of the most quiet guys outside of the sport to just go on and do whatever it is he wanted to do. But he was still held back because he still had fights left on his contract. And so for him, for someone like Conor McGregor, who I think is at that next level in terms of stardom outside of GSP, they definitely don't want to let him just run along and be able to have access to do whatever it is he wants without some sort of involvement by them. I think that's what the holdup is.
That is exactly what the holdup is. And I understand the UFC's position, but you got to look at Conor's position. Is Conor sitting there saying, hey, I can sit out. I don't want to. And I don't think he does. I think, like, if there's one thing Conor loves, he loves the limelight. He loves being the center of attention. That is who he is. He feeds off of it, and he wants to get back to it. But he wants to get back to it where he has the ability to be the guy creating the terms. And right now, he can't do that. And I think that's the holdup.
Will we see that? I guess my next thing is, like, will we see him start to separate himself from them if this doesn't get resolved within this next year? Like, that's where I'm kind of interested to see, like, if they don't get this thing done by International Fight Week, are we going to start seeing Conor be a little bit more vocal? Because, I mean, I'm hearing that he has been kind of vocal with them that he wants to fight, and it's not him that's holding it up. It's the UFC.
Oh, yeah. No, he's said that multiple times. And, when you you look at it and you know the situation, you go, I don't think he's lying. And it's a matter of, in this position, Conor can take, and he's already been offered all these different things, fighting Manny Pacquiao, all the good stuff that comes with that, and the money that's going to come with that. And he's not splitting it. You got to go back to his fight with Mayweather. How much money did the UFC make off of a boxing match that they had really nothing to do with, other than Dana helping promote it? And he did. Okay. They didn't need the UFC. And how much money did the UFC make? Well, Conor's looking, saying, well, hey, you know what? When it comes to, MMA, I'm all for being with you. But when it comes outside of MMA, no. That's mine. You have nothing to do with that. And that's the freedom that he wants. And that's the freedom that they absolutely don't want to give him.
There's moments in your life where you need to put your big boy pants on and do your own business. And look, he's had a lot of success in them together. How much money did he make off of that one fight from Floyd Mayweather? Made a ton of money, but how many more business deals came from that because the UFC was involved in that? I think a lot of them did. But now at this point, when he knows he's not going to be as active in the UFC, he's only going to have one, maybe two more fights, if that. He wants to start separating himself and starting to do his own stuff, whether it means doing a fight promotion or whether that means, yes.
I want to ask you this, Michael Chandler. I've been saying since they made this whole thing, I said, that fight's not going to happen. I don't see that fight happening. How long does Michael Chandler wait?
I think he waits till International Fight Week, and then after that, he passes.
Okay.
Because let's be honest, Michael Chandler, he needed some time off.
Yeah,
he's been in some.
It's actually been good for him.
I think so.
Yeah.
He's got a chance to enjoy his life. He's got 2 young kids. You know, he's married. He's got
2 young boys, got a beautiful family.
Yep, got opportunities for him, and this is a good time too during this time to talk and develop, you know, relationships with sponsors, companies that have come in. Oh, you're going to fight Conor. Oh, it didn't work out, but I still now have contacts with you guys. Let's talk about sponsoring me for my next big fight, which will probably be someone in that top 5.
Oh, it's going to be big.
Yeah, it should be a big fight. UFC will probably try to do him a solid and give him, you know, a title shot after one win, you know, somewhere in there to say, hey, we know you went out, you did the Ultimate Fighter, you held your end of the bargain up. So they're going to try to do him a solid.
Yeah.
And I think his brain and his body needed that rest. So it's a good opportunity.
I don't think it's been bad for him,
No.
but he is getting, you know, he's older.
Mm-hmm.
And how long can you wait? It's tough. It's been over a year.
More to come coming up. I think if Conor doesn't get this thing done by International Fight Week, I think you're going to start seeing the 2 sides point fingers at each other. Now, John, let me throw this in there a little bit. Do you think maybe Conor is putting himself into like, hey, how can I be part owner of the UFC?
Oh, he said
that before.
Before, hey, look, I want to be, you know, part of the UFC. I want to own part of the UFC. We're going to be partners here, and he believes in being partners with them. The problem is they don't believe in being partners with him in that realm. They believe in being partners with him as far as selling a fight, as far as him fighting on their cards, as far as all of those things and him doing media for it and all that. They're partners. You know, just like Dana said, he's one of the best partners they've ever had for it, other than getting him there on time. But that's not the kind of partnership. He wants the passive. He wants it to be where I'm making money off of the UFC with what other people are doing, with what other fighters are putting into it. I don't want it as far as what I'm putting into it. I want to be that guy that owns a percentage of this company. That's not going to happen.
Only time will tell.